The cargo station of Valeris drifted quietly above a blue gas giant. Hundreds of ships moved through its wide docking rings like silent fish in an endless ocean. Freighters arrived from distant systems. Research vessels glided toward the inner docks. Small personal craft blinked with navigation lights as they waited for clearance. Among them was a small human cargo ship called Silent Horizon. Captain Daniel Hayes stepped down the ramp and into the station corridor. The air smelled faintly of metal, ozone, and unfamiliar alien spices. Valeris Station was one of the largest trading hubs in that sector of space. More than 40 alien civilizations visited the station regularly. Humans were not common. Here several alien travelers turned their heads as Daniel walked past. He was tall compared to most species on the station, and his steady, calm posture made him stand out even more. Daniel ignored the curious looks. He had been flying cargo routes for 12 years, and strange stares were part of the job. The corridor opened into the central trading plaza. It was enormous. Wide glass panels revealed the swirling clouds of the gas giant below. Market stalls stretched in every direction, filled with glowing minerals, rare plants, advanced technology, and strange foods from distant worlds. Daniel walked toward the contract office with quiet confidence. His black jacket shifted slightly as he moved, and the sleeve on his right arm pulled back just enough to reveal a faint mark on his forearm. Was an old tattoo, a circular symbol made of sharp lines in ancient characters. The mark was faded with age, but still clear. Most people thought it was just a design only. A few across the galaxy understood its meaning. Daniel finished confirming his delivery contract and stepped back into the busy plaza. Planned to return to his ship quickly, but something unusual happened across the plaza. A young alien woman suddenly froze. She had been standing beside a research terminal, studying a glowing data panel. Moment her eyes landed on Daniel, she stopped, moving her gaze dropped slowly to his forearm to the mark. Her expression changed instantly, shock, disbelief. Then something deeper, reverence. Daniel noticed her staring. He sighed quietly. He had seen that look before, on very rare occasions. The alien woman began walking toward him. She moved carefully through the crowd, as if the space around him had become sacred ground. People stepped aside without knowing why. Daniel remained where he stood when she reached him. She did not speak. Immediately her eyes were locked on the symbol on his arm. Her breathing grew slower. Then suddenly she dropped to her knees. The entire plaza went silent. Merchants stopped mid-sentence. Buyers turned around. A floating cargo drone paused in the air. Dozens of alien eyes focused on the strange scene. Daniel closed his eyes for a second. Not again. He stepped forward slightly. You do not need to kneel, he said calmly. Please, stand up. But the alien woman lowered her head even further. Voice was quiet, but filled with emotion. Forgive me, bearer of the ancient mark. The silence in the plaza deepened. Few aliens nearby began whispering to each other. Daniel gently rubbed his forehead. This was exactly the type of attention he avoided. He looked around at the watching crowd. Please, stand, he repeated softly. You are making this uncomfortable. The alien woman finally lifted her head. Her eyes were bright with my name is Arya, she said. I am a historian of the Valeris archive. Her gaze returned to his arm. That symbol belongs to the first Guardians. Daniel crossed his arms slowly. Know your history. Arya stood up, but her posture remained respectful. Every child of my world knows the stories. She said the galaxy would not exist as it does today without the Guardians. The surrounding aliens listened carefully. Nassim leaned closer. Others watched Daniel with new curiosity. Daniel pulled his sleeve down slightly. The stories are old, he said. Most people forgot them centuries ago. Ria shook her head. Not all of us. She stepped closer and spoke quietly. 300 years ago, a machine empire emerged from the outer darkness. It destroyed system after system. Entire civilizations disappeared. No alliance could stop it. No fleet was strong enough. Daniel remained silent. He had heard the story many times. Then humanity arrived, Arya continued. Not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as defenders. The first guardians stood between the machine fleets and the rest of the galaxy. They fought battles that no one else could survive. Many died holding the line so other species could escape. The plaza remained quiet. Even the distant market sounds seemed to fade. Arya looked back at Daniel. The mark on your arm is there. Symbol. Daniel slowly rolled up his sleeve again. The faded tattoo caught the station lights. Simple circle with sharp lines crossing its center. My grandfather carried it first. Daniel Sadaria blinked. He was one of them. Daniel nodded. Commander Elias Hayes, Guardian, Fleet Defense of the Orion Expanse. Covered her mouth in shock. The Orion defense was legendary. The Guardians held the line for 17 days. Against a fleet that outnumbered them 10-1. Very few survived. Daniel spoke quietly. My grandfather was one of those few when the war ended. The Guardians slowly disappeared. Humanity returned to its own borders. Galaxy rebuilt. People moved on. Arya looked at him carefully. But you carry the mark now. Daniel nodded. Once he gave it to me before he died. He said the symbol was not about war. It was about responsibility. Responsibility to protect others when they cannot protect themselves. The plaza slowly began moving again. But many listeners still watched the conversation. Arya spoke softly. The archives say the last Guardian vanished 2 centuries ago. Daniel shrugged slightly. Then the archives are technically correct. I am not a Guardian. I am just a cargo pilot. Arya studied him. Yet you carry their symbol. Daniel smiled faintly. Someone should remember. Thema, deep vibration, suddenly echoed through the station. The lights flickered briefly. Several ships outside the windows changed direction. The calm atmosphere shifted. An announcement voice echoed through the plaza. Unidentified fleet detected approaching outer perimeter. All civilian vessels remained docked until further notice. The plaza erupted in confusion. Merchants began packing equipment. Security drones moved quickly across the ceiling. Arya looked toward the station windows. Dark shapes appeared in the distant stars. Many ships do, many. Daniel followed her gaze. His calm expression did not change. Arya turned back to him. Slowly, her voice was barely a whisper. Archives warned this might happen. Strange signals from the outer rim. Unknown fleets moving in dark space. Daniel stared at the distant ships. Their formation was cold and precise, almost mechanical. His jaw tightened slightly. Some stories never truly end, he said quietly. Arya looked at the mark on his arm. Again the plaza lights reflected across the faded symbol. For the first time fear appeared in her eyes. Captain Hayes, she said, those ships are what I think they are. The galaxy may need the Guardians. Again Daniel rolled his sleeve fully upward. Ancient mark was clearly visible now around them. Aliens stared in silence. Daniel looked out at the approaching fleet. His voice remained calm. My grandfather once told me something. Arya listened carefully. Daniel spoke slowly. He said the Guardians were never meant to be heroes. They were meant to be the last wall. The line that refuses to break. The station alarms began sounding loudly. Red lights flashed across the plaza side the windows. The unknown fleet continued approaching. Daniel turned toward the docking corridor. Arya watched him with wide eyes. Where "Are you going?" she asked Daniel. Looked back once. "Just a cargo pilot, remember?" Then he smiled slightly. "But someone still has to stand on the Warland." With that, he walked calmly toward his ship, while the galaxy once again held its breath.